Hello and welcome. My name is Jonathan. I am part of the Mathspace team, and it is my pleasure to take you through Mathspace today. First of all, I guess I can share a little bit about Mathspace and about me as well. So Mathspace is a fully digital mathematics tool designed for students from 3rd grade all the way up through high school. So if that's your district or that's your school, please feel free to reach out. I'm actually a former high school teacher myself, and I got introduced to Mathspace when my school used it a few years ago, and I had the opportunity to jump over and join the team, and I've really enjoyed it. One of the things before I joined Mathspace that I noticed about digital programs was that a lot of them were really the same. While they might have had some power, some valuable data available for teachers, all of them really came down to they were either single input response or multiple choice. In both those cases though, something really important is missing, which is the steps and the progress that students show as they work towards their solution. And that's what drew me towards Mathspace. I'm going to take you into the product now, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I've got a linear equation to solve here. 5 bracket x plus 5 close bracket plus 5 equals 60. With a lot of other programs, you might have, again, a multiple choice option, x equals this, x equals that, or just the students are given the opportunity to put in their answer and they're told whether it's right or wrong. But with Mathspace, it says enter your next step here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to expand out the brackets, and when I submit that, I get immediate feedback as a student that what I've done so far is correct, but obviously I'm not at the final answer just yet. So I can simplify, looks good, and I can keep going. Now, some students might have chosen to do something different to start. They might have subtracted 5 from both sides of the equation, or they might have chosen to divide both sides of the equation by 5. Or perhaps something completely different. With Mathspace, as long as it is mathematically valid, we'll allow it. We provide that level of flexibility for students to solve the problem in the way that's going to be the best for them. And we recognize that's not going to be the same for every student. So this is all good so far. Looking good, correct step, on the right track. But now I might make a mistake. And I have to say, this is probably the mistake that I saw my students make most often when I was teaching, is they would move the 30 to the other side of the equation. Immediate feedback saying that's incorrect. So intervention at the point of misconception. But more than that, we don't just say, too bad, so sad, it's time to move on. We actually give students the opportunity to go back, check their work, and learn from their mistakes, making this a program that really supports productive practice, not just mindless repetition. So ideally, we hope that the student is able to look at this, figure out what they've done wrong, and correct their mistake. But if they can't, then they can use some of Mathspace's built-in supports. And to see what those look like, I'm going to move over to the right-hand side of the page here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for a hint, which is this little light bulb. The hint brings the student back to the last correct and logical step of work that they've done and tries to guide them gently in the right direction, just as you or I would as a teacher, to get them back on the right track again. Again, if that's enough, amazing. But if it's not, they can ask for a second hint, which is a little bit more explicit, but is still reminding them of the key concept that they need to understand at this particular stage in the problem. I'm going to go down and just quickly run through what some of the other supports are. First of all, we've got these little footsteps, which are a static worked example, providing a model for the solutions for the students to follow. We have a video, which is a member of our team working through a similar problem, talking through their thinking, and again, providing the students with that model to follow. And finally, in addition to all of these thousands of practice questions that we have, Mathspace also has a full digital textbook. The textbook lessons are available at the click of a button, so the students can go in, read the theory, check out some more examples, watch some videos, interact with some digital manipulatives, and then just jump back into the problem again as soon as they are ready. So with all those built-in supports, as a student, I'm now feeling ready to get going and continue on my way. And this looks good. And let's just finish up the problem here. 60 minus 30 is 30, and I can simplify this now, dividing both sides by 5, x equals 6. So what you can see here is that on one individual problem, the student is getting upwards of a half dozen pieces of feedback from the program automatically, rather than just that right or wrong at the end. And with every piece of feedback, that's so much more information that the student gets about where they're going well and where they might be struggling. Additionally, all of this data is automatically saved and passed along to the teacher. So the teacher can see not only right or wrong, but they can see the strategy that the student chose. They can see where the student made mistakes and what mistakes those were. So they'll know, was it just a careless calculation error? Or is there a deeper conceptual thing that they're not understanding? And the teachers can also see if the students interacted with the hints and videos or not. So they've got an idea of whether the student was using the supports available to them. So really, as you can see, with this step-by-step process, Mathspace is collecting so much data on every single problem, and we're sharing that with teachers and educators as well to try and allow them to make more data-informed decisions about where their students need the most support. Next up, I will jump over to the teacher side and just talk a little bit about some of the reports that are available there. There's a lot, and we certainly won't have time to go through all of it today, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. One of them is our activity report, and this is what teachers will see when they are live in class with their students. They can see who's actively engaged in the platform, and who's disengaged, and who's doing well and who's maybe struggling, who's getting questions wrong, regardless of what they are working on, because we know that not every student is going to be at the same place, and that's okay. Another piece that we have is these highlights, where we really want to bring to a teacher's attention some of the things that their students are doing well, or some of the places where they might be struggling. So for example, that little message says that Jonathan had a learning moment. And if we go in here, I can actually see the exact question that we just walked through, but from a teacher's point of view. I can see that Jonathan did well, and then he made a mistake, but rather than giving up, he took advantage of the hints, watched a video, read the lesson, and then was able to get back on the right track again, totally on his own. And that's something that we want teachers to be able to celebrate with their students and with families as well. With Clever, it's really, really easy to get Mathspace onboarded. Share the data with us, and usually in a turnaround time of under a day, your account manager or salesperson will be able to get you up and running with your district so that everyone can log in using the same details that they're used to. Class rosters are set up, and there's really, really very little onboarding that is involved here. Part of this as well, though, is that we don't want you to feel like, hey, you're using Mathspace, okay, set up the accounts and you'll never hear from us again. One thing that really makes Mathspace unique, I think, is the attention that we're able to give to each of our customers. We really want to make sure that any implementation that you do is successful. So we offer training options, both in-person and virtual, live and asynchronous, to really make sure that your students and teachers, and your administrators as well, get off on the right foot. There's so much data available, and it's such a powerful program that we really want to make sure as well that we're tailoring what we tell you to what's going to align with your district goals, what's going to align with the technology that your students have, and what's going to align with how your teachers deal with new tools and technology in general. I'd absolutely love to speak with you if there's any other questions that you've got and take you through a little bit more of what we have to offer as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find us in the Clever App Store, and we would be happy to get in touch, and we can see if Mathspace is a good fit for your district. Thanks very much for your time, and I hope to speak with you soon.